What's up, everyone, and welcome to ClearTalk. So, in this video, I'm going to be talking about Thanksgiving. Okay, it has been. I'm sorry for being out the whole week of Thanksgiving. Not doing a video or whatever. I didn't really do much of anything through Thanksgiving week, as far as content wise. I did a couple of live streams for Play because of the new season chapter for Fortnite, like in chapter event and stuff like that for Fortnite. But I didn't really do anything else, and even that was like Saturday for Play. So all last week I didn't do anything. Um, because my kids were out, I was trying to spend time with them, of course, and then prepare for Thanksgiving, which was a wonderful time. I cooked turkey, dressing, and sweet potato casserole. That's my specialties from a recipe of my mother's that I grew up with and absolutely love. I promise you, it's like the best sweet potato casserole you've ever had in your life. Um, but yeah, and this year I did a little bit something different with my turkey. I did a spatchcock turkey. If you don't know what that is, I mean, look it up. It's probably you probably have seen it. It's been all over everything. And I almost did it last year, but I kind of chickened out. um, I turkeyed out on it. And but this year I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. So yeah, you kind of take out the backbone of the turkey, separate it flat. You have to kind of break all the rib cage area and everything to like make it, spread out flat. Basically, inject it, coat it, season it however you like. It cooks in almost half the time, which helps to preserve the juices and stuff. With the keeps it from drying out. Because oftentimes the longer you have to cook one, the more it'll dry out, especially the outer part of the turkey. So you reduce the cook time, helps it stay fresher or more juicy or whatever. So that's a weird word, but anyway, whatever. Uh, Not as bad as moist, right? But yeah, it was good. It was very good. Everybody enjoyed. Of course, we cooked other things too. Our kids came over, or most of, well, yeah, half of our kids came. um, my older two couldn't make it because one lives several states away, and the other had to work, unfortunately. But everybody else was here, and it was a lot of fun. Um, and we enjoyed the day. As everybody should on Thanksgiving. Gathering with people, your loved ones, family, friends, whatever, enjoying the holiday, enjoying the time off, and hopefully enjoying it anyways. And yeah, there's always this thing of families get together, and sometimes things get heated maybe or whatever. Hopefully that didn't happen too much with people. And just you just have fun. Leave, if you possibly can, leave the world and politics, or even religion or whatever at the door if you can. It's just a time to we all have our differences and feelings about different things or whatever, but that's really not the time, right? To do that, and you just enjoy each other. That's the time to enjoy each other. Forget all that stuff, right? And just have fun. Hopefully, that was the case for most of you. Um, yeah, it was just a good day. It was a really good day. Um, and yeah, it's a good week overall. And so, but we're back at it here. I'm going to get back to, I spent for a couple of days here on the week trying to catch myself up on the news and what was going on, because I try to stay away for the most part, although that sometimes is kind of hard. But it is what it is. Sometimes you have to, you see things and you just like have to pry into it a little bit. But So I had to catch up a couple of days, and then we'll do some stuff on my other channels. But today we are back at it. So I wanted to give first off right here at the beginning of the video, hopefully you had a very good, happy Thanksgiving and a good holidays and stuff, and you know, just enjoyed it, enjoyed family, feeling love and thankfulness for whatever whatever it is. It doesn't matter what you feel thankful for. It's that's the idea, is taking a day and being thankful for whatever you want to be thankful for. In your life, in the world, in your family or whatever. And that's what it's really. I think the overwhelming point is should be about Thanksgiving. Yes, Thanksgiving does have some rather rough history, a little bit. I think the original Thanksgiving, but um, that's not really the point, especially not now, or it shouldn't be now. I mean, although understanding and remembering certain things certainly can be respected, right? But anyways, all right, enough about that. But thank you very much for joining here. But the other thing I wanted to talk about was other things that happened on Thanksgiving, or things that typically happen on Thanksgiving, and how sometimes with certain people Thanksgiving is just a little different. So there are Thanksgiving traditions when it comes to Washington, to presidents and stuff like that. Um, you have the turkey pardoning, which I think is just weird, but whatever the case, it's a tradition. Much like the whole uh uh Groundhog Day kind of things. Like, it's just something that's tradition that we for some reason still do, because I don't know, people just think it's something we should do. But so yeah, that's something that presidents typically do. They do the proclamation, again, like doing the thankful for our nation and the history of it, and those who fought for our freedoms and stuff. All the the typical proclamation things. Proclaiming, even though it already is a day of a national day of gratitude and stuff, it's just like proclamation that's done every time. That's what a president does. This is the standard traditional thing to proclaim the day as a Thanksgiving, a day of Thanksgiving for the nation. And so those typical things are done. Something that has also been somewhat of a tradition. Well, I wouldn't know if it's a tradition, but it's something that at least the more modern day or later presidents have done, which is something that's interesting to think of. Really, that I don't know how much history in like early history of presidents having or doing or having to do this to any degree. Maybe they did, and I might need to look into that a little bit deeper. But helping and doing charitable work or helping the needy or things like that. But we certainly have history of that in our recent presidents. You can look up and see where President even to Bill Clinton. I'm thinking even Bush Senior. I know George W. Bush did it. I think a couple of times. And Obama, Biden, even as sleepy as he was and old as he was, he even did it. Where they would go help feed the needy and stuff. I'm not sure that they did it every year, but you certainly have that history of them doing it or doing some sort of charitable work, either going to feed the needy or not necessarily charitable, but like meeting with our troops or eating with our to eat with them and celebrate with them, things like that, presidential kind of things. And yes, there's certainly have had time to do things on their own as well and have personal time. But it's just something that you do have historical a precedent of presidents doing this. At least our more recent presidents doing this. But what I have found interesting, in looking through this, is our current president. What does Donald Trump, the most beloved president, apparently, what does he do? Like, what is his tradition? Yes, he did the pardoning thing or whatever. But what does, has he ever done this? And I was trying to remember. I'm like, I don't even remember even seeing him ever doing something like that. And he hasn't. That's right. Trump has never done charitable work on Thanksgiving. Not in his first administration, and not this time either. He has not fed the needy or poor or anything like previous presidents. He hasn't. He hasn't done it. And okay, whatever. I mean, it's his prerogative, and he just doesn't. Whatever. You can make whatever excuse you want. Like, he's just so busy. He's has so much to do. I mean, he deserves. He's doing so much the rest of the time. He deserves his own personal time. He doesn't have to do those things. It's not like it's required or something. There are people that do that, and they're supposed to do that, but he doesn't have to do that. Okay, fine. But in recent history, the one thing that he is known for is trying to stop people from getting services that helped feed them for Thanksgiving. That was certainly something. Like, in the retrospect of what happened, to like put the cherry on top for Republicans to be like, see, we actually wanted all along to get funds and stuff to people, and this reason why we tried so hard to get prices down and get money to get the country back open, so that people could pay for it and have a good Thanksgiving. To put that on the cherry on top, like having him go and help feed the needy would have been like perfect publicity for that. It really would have. Even if you want to just look at it as a political thing, which Trump typically does. He does things that are political. He does things that, make him look good, or at least he perceives makes him look good. So why wouldn't he do something like that? Like, it would have sealed the deal for the Republican argument over this whole debacle this month. I mean, think about it. Not just Thanksgiving in general, or just Thanksgiving as a tradition, or Thanksgiving as, like, it would have helped the entire image of the Republican Party in sort of solidifying the whole argument around the shutdown and trying to open up the government again so that people could get funding and all this that they claimed that they were trying to do all along. That would have just been, but no. Instead, he just goes to Mar-a-Lago. He goes golfing and, spends some personal time with himself and Melania and whoever else came down there to celebrate Thanksgiving. And, okay, fine, that's fine. But there is something else that's very notable that he did. On a day that we should be being thankful and being courteous and kind as much as possible and leaving all the bullshit at the door, what else does Trump decide to do? Well, let me show you. He decides to go on X and make this long-ass rant. Let me read it to you. Very happy Thanksgiving salutation to all of our great American citizens, patriots, who have been so nice in allowing our country to be divided. What? Allowing our country to be divided, disrupted, carved up, murdered, beaten, mugged, and laughed at, along with certain other foolish countries throughout the world. The fuck? For being politically correct and just plain stupid. That has been a word here recently that he has been loving throwing around. Everybody, anybody in any form or fashion that disagrees or even in the smallest amount like pushes back in any kind of way on him, he just declares them as stupid. We've seen this over and over again, or Miss Piggy, but he's done this over and over and over again. I mean, you have the clip here, which I have a funny version of just for fun. But you have, when you I think days just before Thanksgiving, you had a meeting in the White House, in the Oval Office, I think it was, where they were being asked about. He was being asked by a reporter on the individual. Well, actually, I guess it was yes, because this individual, the two servicemen that were killed, or one that was killed and one is still, I think, in critical condition, in Washington, was shot by an Afghani, whatever, that was here in the United States, that was allowed into the United States, and we can get deeper into that. I do plan on probably doing a video specifically on that. But he was being asked about that because this is an Afghan who was allowed into the United States after working with our CIA in Afghanistan to help there. He was allowed into the United States afterwards as for helping us on a pathway to citizenship and live and be here for his own safety. He was allowed in, yes, in the Biden era in 2021, but he was vetted and given, a green card, I believe green card like citizenship here, residency here, by the Trump administration this year. But yet when Trump was commenting on the incident, he blamed it all on Biden. Oh, Biden let this person in, and it's Biden era policies, and him Sleepy Joe Biden, and not knowing what he was doing, and blah 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 blah. He was blaming it all on him, and the reporter was like, simply, but your administration is the one that vetted him and found him to be okay to be here, and gave him temporary residency here, legal residency here. Why do you keep asking? Why do you blame this all on Biden? And I mean, I'm probably not even being as nice about it as the reporter was. And this was his answer. Oh, my bad. Hold on.
On a plane, along with, are you stupid? Are you a stupid person? Because they came on a plane along with thousands of other people that shouldn't be here, and you're just asking questions because you're a stupid person.
That's how he answers. And whoever did this video laying over the clown suit, beautiful. But that's how he answers. He answers by, are you a stupid person? They came over here in a plane and under Biden, and you're asking questions because you're a stupid person. Are you a stupid person? That's like a big thing. That's his big thing here. This is his big thing. Calling someone stupid that in any kind of way that he takes as being attacked by. It's just stupid. He even did it on Air Force One on the way back to Washington from Mar-a-Lago the other day. On the plane with the press gaggle. When asked about the MRI, He, I don't know what they were checking on the MRI, but they didn't check the brain. They didn't check the brain because my brain is beautiful. I passed the test. I did a cognitive test and it was perfect. My brain is perfect. And I passed it beautifully. And then he looked at the report. He's like, something you couldn't do. And then he got on and said something else about it. And then before he walked away, he even pointed to other reporter. And both of these reporters, which were women, and he reported the other one at you too. And then he turned around and walked off. Like, that's his whole thing, is just calling people stupid, degrading them. I'm sorry, I went on a full rant about that. But all right, let's continue. When it comes to immigration, and just plain stupid when it comes to immigration, the official United States foreign population stands at 53 million people. Census. He's putting that on census. Most of which are on welfare. All the foreign population, most of which are on welfare from failed nations or from prisons, mental institutions, gangs, or drug cartels. They and their children are supported through massive payments from patriotic American citizens who, because of their beautiful hearts, do not want to openly complain or cause trouble in any way, shape, or form. Oh, is that why they're always bitching and complaining that people are on welfare? They're so grateful in the hearts that they're constantly bashing all over social media and everything else about how much we just got to get rid of these people. We got to end SNAP. All these freeloaders. They put up with what was happening to our country, but it's eating them alive to do so. A migrant earning $30,000 with a green card will get roughly $50,000 in yearly benefits for their family. This dude and his fucking math. No, that's just fucking lies. That's just fucking lies. Period. It's just lies. It's not happening. The real migrant population is much higher. Population is much higher. So now he's just saying, oh, this 53 number is wrong. Every number is wrong. It's much bigger and bigger than it's ever stated. This refugee burden is the leading cause of social dysfunction in America, something that did not exist after World War II. Oh, we didn't have social dysfunction after World War II. We didn't have social during the Depression. We didn't have social dysfunction. Failed schools, high crime, urban decay, overcrowded hospitals, house shortages, and large deficits. As an example, hundreds of thousands of refugees from Somalia. Now he just fucking goes off on something else. From Somalia are completely taking over the once great state of Minnesota. The Somalians are just running and taking over the great state of Minnesota. A Somalian community that is roughly around somewhere between 60 and 80,000 people is taking over a state of like 3 point something million. Okay. Somalian gangs are roving the streets looking for prey. They're just roving the streets as our wonderful people stay locked in their apartments and houses, hoping against hope that they will be left alone. I don't know what's going on here. The seriously retarded governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, does nothing, either through fear, incompetence, or both. And while the worst congressman/woman in our country, Ilhan Omar, always wrapped in her swaddling hijab, so he attacks her for her ethnicity and her religion or beliefs. and the customaries of said belief. Okay. Okay. And who probably came into the USA illegally, and that you are not allowed to marry your brother. So then he attacks her for this bullshit claim that has been thrown on her for years now, even by him years ago, of her supposedly marrying her brother in order to gain citizenship here. And that has been debunked multiple times. There is absolutely no record and what of her ever marrying her brother, or the person her married is related to her as a sibling. Okay, the records show that that is not true. Period. This has been debunked already, even when it first come out and blew up all over conservative Republican lunatic social media. All right. But he keeps. This is the kind of shit that he does. He feeds on that kind of stuff and just throws out the lies and bullshit over and 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 motherfucking over again. Because that's all he knows how to do is fucking lie and make up shit and stir up shit and cause division and cause chaos. That's the whole point. I didn't do it. You did it. You did it. Look over there. Don't look at me. Look over there. Look over there. Look over there. Look over there. Does nothing but hatefully complain about our country, its constitution, and how badly she is treated, when her place of origin is decadent, backward, and crime-ridden nation, which is essentially not even a country for lack of government, military, police, schools, etc. Although Somalia does have a government. It does barely have a military now. It did have one of the largest militaries in Africa back in the day, but that was all broken up between the United States interrupting, and then which eventually led into Al Qaeda types taking over the country, or attempting to take over the country. Anyways, police, yes, they do actually have police. They do have schools too. Even as we have progressed technologically, boy, why am I having such trouble with that damn word? Immigration policy has eroded those gains and living conditions for many. I will permanently pause migration from all third world countries to allow the U.S. system to fully recover. Terminate all. You remember he did something like this back in his first administration, where he banned Muslims. You know, the Muslim ban? He did stuff like this again. And this is in the same vein. Muslim countries. Most of the 19, I think it was like a list of 19 countries that Washington put out that was banned right now from entering the country. And most of them were Arab countries. To allow the U.S. system to fully recover, terminate all the millions of Biden illegal admissions. I'm going to expand on this in just a minute, including those signed by Sleepy Joe Biden's auto pen, and remove anyone who is not a net asset to the United States or is incapable. This one's interesting. I want you to think about the way he words this. Or is incapable of loving our country. That one we need to hold on to. That word, that phrase right there, is not a net asset or is incapable of loving our country. Remove anyone who is incapable of loving our country. And what do they what do they say about anyone who opposes their agenda? Anyone who says something bad about the administration or doesn't agree with the administration, what do they say? That we hate America. Oh, you just hate America. You just hate America. If you don't agree with us, if you don't agree with MAGA, you just hate America. Blah, 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 blah. Keep this in mind. End all federal benefits and subsidies to non-citizens of our country. Denaturalize migrants. Denaturalize. Okay, he's talking about people who have went through the immigration process and have become naturalized citizens. Denaturalize migrants who undermine domestic tranquility and deport any foreign national who is a public charge, security risk, that's pretty fucking broad, or non-compatible with Western civilization. What does that fucking mean? That's even broader. These goals will be pursued with the aim of achieving a major reduction in illegal and disruptive population. Not just illegal. See, keep paying attention to these fucking words. Not just illegal, disruptive populations. Including those admitted through our unauthorized and illegal auto pen approval process, which he claims is anything that Biden's administration approved. And I'm going to give you further evidence. Only reverse migration can fully cure this situation. Other than that, happy Thanksgiving to all. Except those who he fucking still can't. Except those that hate, steal, murder, and destroy everything that America stands for. Huh. You hate. You steal. I guess the only thing we can't get you on so far is murder. But you sure as fuck are destroying everything America stands for. We'll get you on some other things other than murder. You are a criminal, a convicted criminal. You won't be here for long. This is what he decides to put out on Thanksgiving. This is our president who explodes his grievances and delusion on social media, spewing hate and division on the day that we are supposed to come together and be thankful and, try our best to get the fuck along. But that's not all. Today, yesterday, my bad, yesterday afternoon, he puts out on Truth Social any and all documents, proclamations, executive orders, memorandums, or contracts signed by order of the now infamous and unauthorized auto pen within the administration of Joseph R. Biden Jr., are hereby null, void, and of no further force or effect. Anyone receiving pardons, commutations, or any other legal document so signed, please be advised that said document has been fully and completely terminated and is of no legal effect. Thank you for your attention on this matter. He is unilaterally stating, proclaiming that anything done, because he claims that everything Joe Biden did because he was asleep and he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. And while he says that he was asleep and didn't know what he was doing, and it's all his fault, but yet it's also not his fault because, there were people around him and he was asleep, and they just did the auto pin because they were actually the ones running the show. Joe Biden didn't know what the fuck was going on. So therefore, it wasn't legally binding because he didn't actually do it. So, yeah. Sorry. He is completely stating that everything done by the Biden administration is not void. It just didn't happen. It didn't exist. And some of you Trump supporters might defend this, might think it's amazing. Like, hey, fucking yeah, that's my guy. He's doing the shit. He's doing the Trump shit. He's a badass. He's the motherfucking man. Do you understand what this is, the precedent that this is leading, though? Because understand that anything that any president ever has done, in history presents precedent for any president in the future to possibly do. Okay? That's the reason, honestly, why a lot of presidents don't necessarily do what we would really rather them do. Because of the possibility of some other extreme of them getting in and doing the same thing. Now, you must, as a president or somebody of charge, whether it's in the administration or whatever, when you make a decision like this, you have to weigh out the risks and rewards. Or what are the risks of it? Is it worth the risk? So just understand that him presenting this as a president, him presenting this, if he goes through with it, if they are even legally able to go through with it, which is the big question, and why some of you probably like, oh, dude, he just talking shit. He just trolling. He just making a big deal about it. It ain't going to really happen. He does this shit all the time. It doesn't mean that he don't try. Yeah, he talks a lot of shit. But a lot of the shit that he does actually attempt it. It's usually the legal system that prevents them from doing so, though. So it's not like he doesn't want it. It's not like he's not really trolling. He really means it because he thinks he has the power and ability to do so. And that's what keeps coming into question, is how far him and his administration are going to push. And even when, it does come into legal battles, which was amazing how much they talked about that in the committee meeting yesterday, was 500 and something lawsuits have been brought upon this administration, the most in history. Matter of fact, more than all previous presidents combined. That's kind of telling, isn't it? I mean, they're stating it as some sort of like flex. Oh, we must be doing something right because the judicial system is coming at us so hard. harder than they've done to anybody. So we must be doing something right because the judicial system is so corrupt. And while, there probably is some corruption in the judicial system, I would probably argue the judicial system is the least corrupted of any of the branches of government. There was something floating. I don't know what that was. But understand that if they were to try to go through with this gives precedent for a future president that might not agree, might be, an opposing figure to your ideology, could just do the same thing. All of Trump's executive orders and documents and proclamations and commutations and legal things that he has done and signed, they could do the same thing. Just say, they're null. They're void. No longer in effect. So do you really, all of you out there that are Trump supporters, that maybe you've received a pardon? Maybe you were helped, you think, at least, by documents and executive orders and contracts? Do you really want those to just be null and void? I'm just saying. But this is what he's doing. This is what he's doing. And then not only that, but also in the committee meeting yesterday, the USDA leader, I forget her name now, in talking about SNAP, declared that, because she tried to claim or tried to throw out that we needed to do a whole reapplication process that got blasted. So she retracted from that, and they started doing this where they wanted all the information. They've been trying to gather information from the states about SNAP recipients, which is supposed to be handled by the states. That information is supposed to be protected by the states, personal information, and not given to the government. But they've requested, and she stated where 29 of them had agreed, and she declared that those were mostly Republican states and that the blue states are denying. And because of this denial, because they are denying by their legal right to do so, by the way, because they are denying, the USDA, starting in the coming days, when they're supposed to, start funding for this month on benefits, that those states, they're just not going to send them to until they give up that information. Yep. That's this administration. They are going to withhold benefits from individuals in blue states. That was their claim, blue states. Because those states are refusing to give your personal information to the federal government. I mean, this administration who was all about making everything go back to the states and the states controlling everything and the federal government being shrunk and not having to do with anything and hands off and blah, 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 blah. They're arguing literally to have your information, to take away from the states process And in order to get that information, they're going to withhold benefits from you. That was their claim. Now, I'm sure that's going to be met with legal battles. As soon as she said it, pretty sure that some of that started. But this is what this administration is doing. Okay? So, yeah. Happy Thanksgiving, America. Happy Thanksgiving. That this administration, this president, after withholding funds, withholding something substantive that helps people in America through the shutdown, using that as a tactic against the shutdown. Then a president who seemingly doesn't give a shit about showing any compassion for people and needy or anything else. Getting on social media with his grievances and blasting everybody and anybody who opposes him. Hating on migrants. And declaring that he will denaturalize and remove people who are basically causing trouble. Disruptive populations. Incapable of loving our country. I was thankful for a lot of things. This Thanksgiving. I was thankful for one, that I was alive and that, I'm seemingly healthy as far as I know. At the age of 43, I'm pretty decently healthy, I think. My family is healthy. And for the most part, doing well. I'm thankful that those that were able to come and celebrate and join in, could join. But thankful also for the communication with those who couldn't, and verbally through text or phone call or whatever, was able to, enjoy that. But I have to admit, I have to say, the one thing that I am not thankful for, I'm not thankful for the current conditions and the outlook for this country in the near future. Current, present, and near future. Because I am concerned and afraid for what this president and his administration of hateful, narcissistic, selfish, Nazi-like fascist administration is going to continue doing to our country. Destroying the very basics and the founding principles of this country, and how we have grown and progressed from that. which was the whole point. Because there is a portion of this country, albeit small, but there's a portion of this country it is hell bent on regressing us, pulling us back, holding us back, taking us back to what they claim or think was a great America. Some of those have that opinion to be one period, and others have an opinion of being another period. And while fundamentally they're actually different, very different periods, whether we're talking about regular people, everyday working people, and their thoughts versus the powerful and wealthy and their thoughts. And if you've been following along here, you should probably understand what I mean. But I am thankful. What I am thankful for is that there are people across this nation that show up, sometimes daily, sometimes weekly, monthly, in different ways and avenues, whether it be on social media or in media itself. A few in government, very few, are justices that show up, and those who show up in protest. I'm thankful for all those who are standing up for America, standing up for the fundamentals of America and of its people, in genuine love and concern for its people and its rights and its abilities for a prosperous in pursuit of happiness in this country. Something that this administration and its followers, again, are hell-bent on destroying. So thank you very much. If you were one of those who are constantly pushing back, saying, no, we do not agree with this. No, the people are not with you. No, we do love our country. And we're not going to allow the likes of a fucking orange man and his Nazi-like army to destroy this country. Thank you very much for joining me. And until next time, peace. Clear Talk. With love, I'm out.